Warm welcome to everyone joining us from all over the globe. And I'm quite excited to be here amongst all of you. And we want to share the magic that we are up to at Muni International School. Will I be able to progress the slides, or will you be doing that?
I will be doing that.
All right, all right. Sure. Yes. Okay. So to begin with, we have this small line on education is knowledge of how to live and why to live, knowledge by which life can be lived in celebration. Okay, and if we can move to the next slide, Kavita. Yes, so when we talk about celebration and achievements, first of all, I begin by thanking and expressing my heartfelt gratitude to the precious contributions of the dynamic, exuberant, and visionary founder of Muni International School, Delhi, Dr. Ashok Kumar Thakur, the committed parents of our students, our passionate teachers, exceptional students, and our ecosystem partners. Next, I thank and express my heartfelt gratitude, to Amit Tuteja and his awesome team at Connecting Dreams Foundation who have made this global movement possible. And finally, I thank all of you and express my heartfelt gratitude to the participants all over the world whose exuberance is infusing positive energy into all of us at this very moment, and who are the reason for converging together for the next few days. And from then on, of course, unleashing the hash changemaker 20 movement globally. Yes. Okay, so the collaborative efforts at MIS has garnered several prestigious accolades, including but not limited to some of them which I have listed below. Quickly, there is a whole big list of them, but I will focus on these four here. MIS is recognized as as one of the 10 changemaker schools in India by the Ashoka Foundation, based in the United States. The foundation has a very strong impact in 60 plus countries. Okay, and MIS holds the exclusive recognition as Japan's only partner school in India. The innovative education methods of MIS have received laudable praise from UNESCO. And look at this one. We've been recognized as India's best CBSE schools for more than 5 consecutive years in specific categories. All right, and there are many more, and we can share with you them with you at some other point. Um, yes. Now comes the vision, right? Every school, and especially Muni, has a big vision. It has a very inclusive vision, a school that is cultivating versatile change makers who creatively express their life's purpose for harmonious coexistence in a brave new world. All right, and the larger vision for us is India's traditional Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which is the whole world is one family. That makes the SDG 4 goal of inclusivity, quite clear, I think. Yeah. The mission is, of course, an experimental yet exemplary school that innovates to fill learning gaps, with children serving as a living evidence. All right, so that's the certificate. So Muni education methodology is the solution to today's, or the present day problems and future challenges. Since MIS understands that the education ecosystem is complex and adaptive, it uses continuous R&D to actively sense and respond to new challenges that emerge through experimentation, feedback, and of course innovation. Yes. And very quickly, I'll choose only a few of these outcomes for you. Continuous R&D and for staying relevant and resilient. This is what is required: continuous R&D and innovation, right? Exponential learning capabilities in students. That's one of the important outcomes. Self-organization, self-management, and self-reliance in students. Holistic development of students. And imagine this one: stress-free students, teachers, and parents. Who wouldn't love to have that, in all the schools across the globe? And then there is the scalability of the model, which is why we are talking to all of you. It is scalable, and the reason for that is its simplicity and universality. And the next thing that comes is the next slide, please. And what would a typical Muni student look like, or what would you expect from a typical Muni student? He or she would be emotionally competent, would have a holistic outlook through the lens of relationships, coherence or harmony, and coexistence. Right? Look at the lens. It's going to be a terrific lens. Which would be a microscope and a telescope at the same time. And the student would be in harmony with himself or herself, with his family, with his society, and with rest of nature. Yeah, next slide, please. Now, there is an interesting thing which I would like to touch base, very quickly, is on the growth habits at a pre-primary stage. So MIS helps in instilling growth habits by the time children are in second grade. And what we have observed, and what many of you would have observed at this early stage, growth habits are relatively easy to embody. You know, that's because the children haven't developed strong logic, and they don't have any misinformation about reasons to avoid cultivating good habits. All right, so that's the key. And the growth habits that are instilled are uh, I'm solely I'm solely responsible. Negativity does not exist in the world. What we mean by that is, there is no such thing as negativity in the world. It is only the absence of something that makes us figure out some opposite words, and we get caught up in that. For example, absence of light is we call it as darkness. So darkness is nothing negative which has an existence, existential reality. Similarly, absence of happiness, we call it as sadness, and it's not a negative thing, all right, because sadness doesn't really exist. It's only the absence of happiness or the degree to which somebody can be happy, which could be less. All problems are challenges that are thrown at me. They are a test of my hidden potential and talent to upgrade my existence to its next level. And the final two are self-restraint and determination. So these are habits that are instilled at the pre-primary stage. Yes. Kavitaji, the next slide. Here's a trick question. All right. If somebody were to ask, a whole lot of us, what is the proof that you're educated, without flaunting your degree certificates, what would you come up with, And in the interest of time, we will go for the answer in the next slide. All right, next slide, please. And, if you have to present the proof, you have to actually confidently say this with an affirmative, and a very strong conviction in your voice that I am healthy. I have at least one relationship in which there is unconditional mutual trust. I trust in myself. I'm prosperous, and I'm in harmony with myself, with my family, with society, and with rest of nature. If it is an affirmative answer for all of these, then you have earned your own self-certification, and yes, you are educated by all means, and that doesn't need, any printed certificates from anywhere. The next thing I would like to have to you to have a quick look is the Muni education methods on a platter. Over 40 education methods have been contextually evolved, due to MIS R&D's relentless pursuit of excellence and quality education. All right, this has been from the beginning. These methods embed emergent practices that enable students to apply their skills and human values appropriately in real life situations. And I must thank again Dr. Ashok Kumar Thakur, who started all this 21 years ago in a little place in New Delhi, and the pains and the battle against the currents, flowing against the currents, has been worthwhile. And here we are addressing hashtag changemaker 20. All right. So yeah, the next slide, please. Okay. Now comes the central part of this presentation, and what I will be doing here is, these are anecdotes from MIS that touch the theme of this summit, which is SDG 4 quality education, and we'll highlight the impact of Muni education methods on leadership and innovation through these anecdotes, okay, which I'm going to share with you. They are quite compelling, and the title of the presentation is very rightfully Fueling Leadership and Innovation Through Muni's Education Pathways. Now, the slides will stop moving from here, because this will be totally a narrative of some wonderful experiences I have had the privilege of being in the midst of. And no, please don't move this slide. I will this is going to take a fairly long time, and this will touch upon all, the most important methods, award winning methods of Muni International School, as well as they will be, addressing the SDG 4 quality education goals and the ripple effects that it can have on the other 16 goals as well. Okay, now I'd like to take you through the first anecdote, and I will, because I didn't want to miss anything. I have it, in front of me as well, so that I don't miss giving you the cream of Muni International School to all of you, because all of us are very eager to know what it is that we are doing here. Okay, so we encourage visitors to ask our students any existential question that they may have at their age and they don't have answers for. They can ask their questions to any child in the school from any class they choose to. Okay, and the school methods are entirely explained by our students, okay, to the visitors, and they take them around the school. Okay, where none of the management or teachers take them around. And there are two reasons for doing this. All right, the students become comfortable with strangers at zero notice. All right, and they become prepared, to answer unexpected questions from anywhere, anytime. That's how life deals with us, right? It throws us unexpected surprises at us all the time. So here's one anecdote. All right, a visitor who visited Muni International School asked one of our third grade students, yeah, what is it, that what is your contribution to your family, was his question. What is your contribution to your family? Usually, this question is not asked for third graders, but look at the answer, the wonderful answer that the youngster has given. The youngster said, I know how to take care of my health, you know really well. All right, I know how to take care of my health really well, because of which I don't fall sick often. Okay, because of which my parents don't have to take me to the doctor very often, because of which my the bills that have to be paid to the doctor are saved. Okay, and the money that is saved, which had to be paid to the doctors, is my contribution to you know to my family. Now look at this wonderful answer from the third grader. This is not something that you can make up or memorize, right? It reflects the comprehensive understanding of what has happened since the child joined the school, right? And the three inferences that you can draw, you know there are many inferences one could draw. One of them is the confidence that the child has shown to answer you know uh, with zero latency to the stranger. All right, so that is the confidence that is showing up. The next thing is the child knows the importance of his health. All right, at third grade, the child knows, because of the various uh, learning methods from lower kindergarten. We call it as learning and not teaching, because this is a knowing that happens in the child's mind through self discovery. The child, because here we are in India, the child knows that his mom's kitchen has enough medicinal content in the spices that she uses in all the favorite foods that his mom prepares for him. All right, and he he or she is quite aware of its effectiveness. All right, so that is he knows that these there are many cures, common ailments that can be cured by just eating mom's home cooked food. All right, so this is one thing, and he knows that it is his sole responsibility not his mom or dad's responsibility, not his grandpa or grandmother's responsibility, not even the doctor's responsibility. He's solely responsible for he or she for for his or her health. Okay, and in these days, you will see that many children feel that their parents are ATM machines. They stand in front of their dad and say, "Dad, $500," and there goes the ATM machine, and the dad or even mom sometimes can hand over the cash. All right, but here you will see that the child is also sensitive to the financial situation at his house. He's trying to save for the family. All right, this is something that can only come through the processes that have made their way into the quote unquote knowing of the child, and these are learnings that you can never take away from the child. Now, these anecdote this particular anecdote also it connects with different Muni education methods. Okay, I'll quickly touch on couple of methods that this particular anecdote is touching upon, and this is the child's awareness of health as a personal responsibility likely stems from value-based education, which is there as a learning process right from lower kindergarten up to 10th grade. All right, which imparts ethics, empathy, and self awareness. This method seems to have provided a foundation for the child's, understanding, comprehensive, I must say, of health. Okay, yeah, to the level that is possible at third grade. Then there is subject merge, which is a extraordinary method in itself. The interconnectedness of subjects, okay, is brought together by means of this method, and you can see how the child is interconnecting various aspects of subjects like health and financial condition, etc. In his comprehensive answers, so he's already able to make connections across a wide spectrum of subjects or domains, right? Then there is prepare innovative mindset. This preparation of innovative mindset, which is called as the Eklavya method in MIS, is an extraordinary and very powerful way of um, becoming innovative. Okay, it's an extraordinary process which, when you visit the school, please do. Everybody is welcome to do so, and we'd love to have you there. But now, quickly, let me touch upon what is the leadership and innovation. Since the theme of this particular program or my session is fueling leadership and innovation, let's see what leadership and innovation aspects have we touched upon in this anecdote. While this doesn't particularly portray leadership and innovation, these are subtly interwoven into the mind of the child already. So if you see that the child's confidence and ability to respond assertively to the visitor showcases the early seeds of leadership in the child, right? So leadership isn't just about leading others, it's about leading oneself, right? The child has led himself to stand in front, be assertive, and come up with an answer which is meaningful and to the visitor, making informed decisions and taking responsibility, as evident in the child's understanding of health and contribution, right? He's quite confident about what he knows. The child's unique perspective on health as a contribution, this is for the innovation part. Okay, so the child's unique perspective on health as a contribution in innovative thinking, it shows an ability to question the norms, find creative solutions, and connect seemingly unconnected or unrelated dots, right? These are essential traits of an innovative mindset, mind you, right? And what is the overall impact of this anecdote? It's a microcosm of the multifaceted impact of Muni's education methods. It highlights how methods intertwine to foster not only academic excellence but also life skills, right? Critical thinking, holistic understanding. Okay, the child's response is a reflection of the comprehensive education they have received, which stems from the diverse range of Muni methods in action. It's a treatment of Muni's philosophy that education goes beyond or can go beyond textbooks, nurturing well rounded individuals ready to navigate life's complexities with confidence, empathy, and innovative thinking. So, this was the first anecdote, and we don't want to change any slides yet, please, Kavita ji. We will continue to hold on to this particular slide while I narrate to you our next anecdote. You know, the next anecdote is something which is, um, which one of our alumni, recently, we received this email from one of our alumni, Tanvi, to tell us about, in which she has indicated, among other things, that at Muni International School, she began 10th to read 10th grade topics, mind you, 10th grade topics while she was a 5th grader. Okay. Though at first she felt that this was quite daunting. All right. It soon became evident to her that the approach, had a profound impact on her growth. What she realized, or what Tanvi realized, what was whether she studied in 5th grade or 10th grade lessons, 10th grade lessons, both would have been new to her. All right, both would have been new, and she would have no clue about the newness of the topics. So she said to herself, why not embrace higher level challenges? Who's stopping me? Instead of comparing herself to others, she now strives for continuous improvement, resilience, self reflection, and a love for lifelong learning. All right. She has now got her admission into a Bachelor of Business Administration at a prestigious college in Delhi. And this approach has allowed her to set higher standards, push her own boundaries, and achieve new milestones. All right. And we are, yeah, we don't have a keep an eye on her. The social signals will reach us in due course of time, and maybe in the future when there is a Changemaker 20 again, we'll hear about her and from her perhaps. So inference from the anecdote, this is a short one in the interest of time, but the reflective practice, her self-reflection exemplifies Muni's encouragement of metacognition, right? The keyword today, it is thinking about the process of thinking itself, all right, which enhances learning and awareness. This is something she has already embodied, all right. Then setting higher standards. Her aspiration to set higher standards resonates with Muni's emphasis on personal excellence and striving for greatness, all right, and expansion of her boundaries. Her willingness to push her boundaries echoes Muni's approach of pushing learners beyond their perceived limits. All limitations that we have are only perceived, man-made, thought-made, and media-made, and and there are so many varieties of it. The mindset shift. Her shift from grade-based learning to content-based learning reflects Muni's transformational approach to education, focusing on holistic development, right? Innovation. Now, if we were to talk about innovation and her Tanvi's um, ability to innovate, all right, was reflected immediately in her thought that why don't I take up this challenge? It is daunting, but quickly, the connection was that either whether she is in 5th grade or she is in 10th grade, both topics are brand new. And she only has to make a choice that I have to go for something which is more challenging, which is going to stretch her boundaries, right? So this is something which is reflected, and for this you have to take the first step as a leader to go that distance, to walk that distance, and to make it happen. And we are seeing that pretty much happening with her. Okay, so this was the second anecdote. All right, the next one is a very interesting one, and this is for the audiences outside the country. Please keep your ears tuned for this one. It has got a few new things in it. You might have heard, many of you might have uh, heard about it. Did I get disconnected? I think the okay. So the um, I think the presentation was taken up. Okay. So this is in India we have what are called as sutras. Okay, they are also called as aphorisms in English. They are small, pithy, very dense wisdom packed into very short sentences. So these are introduced to the children from lower kindergarten. Okay, so I was at a school up north that had implemented some Muni education methods over the last few years. All right, and I went into a grade 8 class and asked the children if anybody has had any experience on the impact of different aphorisms which they had been introduced to. All right, now the interesting part of the method of introducing aphorisms is that the children are urged to prove them wrong. Okay, here's the wonderful thing about the aphorisms that we give to them. These are you know truths, in a sense, truths, but the children are encouraged to disprove them. All right, and this delights the children here, since they are looking for different ways of proving us wrong. You know how eager children are to prove us wrong in today's times. All right, and we give them this wonderful opportunity to do so. So one boy stood up and said he has an experience to narrate. Okay, so what did he say? He said few years ago the situation was that during winter time he used to invariably fall sick. Okay, and used to miss his classes, because of which he started to lag in his studies and used to get poor results in exams. Now this used to annoy both teachers and parents, and they ended up scolding him for not showing interest in his studies. And uh, you know it also, they used to also severely punish him. They used to severely punish him as well, and this was not going well. And what did he do? Okay, um, this, because it was happening all the time in school as well as at home. So he said he used to fall sick in winter because he ate many things that he loved too much, and despite his parents warning him to eat those things, not to eat those things, since they were not good for his health during winter time, due to his the way his constitution was, and those things that which he loved and he ate used to make him fall sick during winters. So he never bothered to listen to them, as you might have expected. All right, now when the Muni education methods were introduced, he took up the aphorism. And listen to this one carefully. The aphorism goes this way: the patient and the learner, or in other words the student, benefit from obedience only. Let me repeat that: the patient and the learner benefit from obedience only. Okay, these are more apt in Hindi as well. Okay, he was excited by the challenge, because he had to prove it wrong, right? He had this wonderful opportunity to prove this aphorism wrong. So he decided, now here's something which cannot be logically expected to happen. Okay, this goes beyond logic. See what he did. He decided that, since he used to become a patient, or used to fall sick during winters, he never used to obey his parents, right, instructions not to eat those things which were bad for him. So he decided to check what happens if I do the opposite of what my opposite of what I used to do, and that is, you know uh, to listen to them. All right, the opposite of whatever he used to not listen to them. So he decided to do the opposite, okay, and listen to them. And what happened? He obeyed his parents' advice and was pleasantly surprised that he did not fall sick that year. Okay, his attendance in school was good, all right, and the punishments were now less and less severe, all right, and then he started making progress in academics as well. He said, "It's now years since I've been testing my idea, and I realize that I am not able to prove this aphorism, wrong, okay, or prove this aphorism, right? The patient and the learner benefit from obedience only. I have not been able to disprove this wrong. A patient or a person who is sick and a student or a learner has to be obedient." This became his knowing because he failed in proving it wrong. Okay, and imagine you can never take away this learning from him at any point in time. Now, what is it that what are some of the inferences that we can get from this anecdote? So the inferences are the introduction of the aphorisms within. So here's an open-minded inquiry and challenge, right? You can foresee or you can see that open-minded inquiry and challenge is involved here. Self-initiated exploration is involved here. Emergent learning is involved here. The boy's decision to reverse his behavior based on his own observation and intuition showcases emergent learning. Muni methods seem to have cultivated an environment where students can generate insights from their own experience. Right? This is the beauty of the methods that we have. Then it prepares an innovative mindset. Muni methods prepare you for an innovative mindset, consciously sensing core interests and purpose from behavior. Muni teachers and parents also who join hands with us very carefully sense the core interests and purpose from the behavior of the children, their own children if they are parents, and if they are teachers, the teachers are very keenly and sensitively observing the core interests of each child and the purpose that is driving their behaviors. All right, then value based education is also playing a big role, and subject merge wherein multiple subjects are fused. The knowledge cross domain learning happens in subject merge. Then if you come to the leadership and innovation part, the boys' initiative to question norms and seek solutions independently showcases early signs of leadership, don't they? All right, so leadership is not about just leading others. It's about taking initiative, responsibility, and guiding oneself towards growth and of course change. Okay, and if you were to talk about the innovation aspect that is touched upon by this particular anecdote, the boy's unconventional approach to proving the aphorism wrong, we wouldn't have imagined that. All right, the child just did what he did, and that was something truly amazing. The aphorism wrong by reversing his behavior. He just reversed his behavior, and this reflects innovative thinking, doesn't it? What else does it do? I mean, so it demonstrates the ability to find novel solutions and adapt his actions for better outcomes. Okay, so that was the third anecdote for you, and you can imagine, from my excitement, that I'm quite moved by these experiences. What is the overall impact of this particular anecdote? Very quickly. So in this, what is happening is, the testament. It's a testament of how Muni's methods cultivate, students who question, experiment, and derive conclusions based on their own experiences. Right? By introducing aphorisms that challenge students' thinking, Muni's methods foster an environment where knowledge is got is not just by not just by transmission, but which is actively discovered. It's not transmitted knowledge, it's actively discovered by personal participation in the day-to-day of life, right? So the boy's journey from skepticism to realizing the truth of the aphorism reflects the depth and breadth of learning nurtured by Muni methods. It shows the method's potential to spark intellectual curiosity and encourage self-awareness and promote lifelong learning. In the interest of time, I'll move to the next, anecdote, and this is another very powerful anecdote, and this is also a very key. It touches upon a very key aspect of today's theme, which is leadership. Okay, so I was at this at the assembly of you know at Muni, and I arrived there during what is called as a 0 hour, the first thing in the morning, where children are just expected to do nothing but celebrate. Okay, and they had no pressure to do anything, but they get fired up by the national anthem and taking the daily oaths, which is also so very mm, you know powerful. It infuses them with energy that lasts throughout the day perhaps. And after taking the oath, everyone returns to their respective classrooms except for the MPs. Now, you heard me right. Okay, MPs here stands for members of the parliament. Okay, here MPs are members of the parliament from grade 1 to grade 10th, and they are present along with school teachers, the management of the school, and visitors as well. All of us are there along with the MPs. On that particular day, there was this Japanese teacher who had arrived from Japan some time back, and she was there to make the children of Muni International understand the cultural nuances of the Japanese, because we have a lot of visitors coming from Japan. From our children at Muni are fluent in speaking Japanese by the time they are in 5th grade. That's a surprise for you, all right? And but knowing the culture is something different. So this teacher had come from there, and she had spent a good lot of time doing this. But on that particular day, she wanted to ensure that the processes that were in place are implemented successfully at the school. Now, all the MPs, including one first grader whom I saw, a small child, there are two MPs, all right, and I'll come to that pretty soon. The children are noting down the instructions that can come from visitors, visiting faculty, the management, or the teachers. All right, so they make quick notes. Okay, so the whole school actually has a powerful method called parliamentary system, which replicates the same model that is in reality in the Indian Parliament, which is the Indian Parliament. The whole school is treated as the country. The classrooms are each class is treated as a state, and each state has MPs, MLAs, ministers, judiciary. There is a prime minister and there is a president as well, and they are all elected. Okay, this powerful method allows each child to experience by rotation different ministries and responsibilities that go with it. Okay, most of the school administration is done by this parliamentary system, and the judiciary solves the internal problem. Children solve their own internal problems. If they most of the times they become really good at solving their own problems, because they understand truly what justice means. It's not polluted yet, and this makes it very easy for them to be just. Okay, so now the instructions of the Japanese teacher have been noted by the class MPs, and by the way, there are two MPs in each class, unlike the real world parliament that we have in India. The reason for that is one MP is a male and another MP is a female. So this way, both of them get an opportunity to be members of the parliament, because it's a responsible position. So this is because each class has a female. Okay, I touched upon that. Giving an equal choice to them, these MPs then go back to their respective classes, and the instructions that they noted down after the assembly they get implemented through the MLAs and ministers that are there in the classroom. By the time it is 2:30 p.m. and time to leave the school for the day, nobody has to worry about what happened to the instructions. Believe me, they they are they have been well taken care of. Okay, um, the whole school. Okay, so we touched upon that. Now, let's quickly analyze the parliamentary system real quick. So this method itself is a testament of Muni's innovative approach. By creating a simulated parliamentary structure within the school, it fosters leadership, collaboration, and a sense of responsibility among students. So there is equal representation as well. Okay, equal representation from male and female, which showcases Muni's commitment to gender equality and diversity, aligning with equal opportunity for all method. Responsibilities are rotational in nature so that everybody gets an opportunity to go and experience the responsibilities of all the ministries. Real world experience exists, empowerment and ownership exists, leadership and innovation. Yeah, regarding this, the parliamentary system cultivates leadership qualities from a young age. Students learn to voice opinions, make decisions, and collaborate effectively, aligning with Muni's goal of nurturing future leaders, right? Innovation. Muni's approach to education encourages innovative thinking through methods such as curiosity and creativity. The parliamentary system itself is an innovative fostering creative solution within a structured framework. So I think there's not enough time to go over the rest of the analysis of this particular anecdote and the rest of them. So we will try to proceed with the remaining presentation to the extent we can. Can we please bring the presentation back, Kavita ji? Okay, there are several Muni methods, and in brief, they are shown on the screen, but I will probably touch very quickly on only a few of them. Self competition, where we say you have to be your own competitor, and you have to compete only with your own previous performance. Okay, so then there is guided discovery, where teachers become facilitators and guide students to discover. There is a wonderful method called group reciprocal system, in which entrusts students with responsibility to take care of learning within their group as a whole and be compassionate towards members facing difficulties. All right, and then it promotes exponential learning. And for this exponential learning, at what it means, whether the learning happens doubles or it goes up by a factor of 5 or by a factor of 10, or does it go up by a factor of as many students plus one teacher being in the classroom, is left for your imagination and for your pending visit to Muni International School, Delhi. Please don't miss it. You can visit the Taj Mahal and the Muni International School, Delhi, with equal priority. All right. The next slide, please. So the next few methods which are there are situation creation, in which the teachers create one intense moment of interest in a given topic. It develops interest of students in a given topic by relating it to everyday life. This happens at the beginning of every chapter in school, firing up. It is the ignition spark that brightens up the day for a child and makes him or her to come back to school every single day, and sometimes even miss school. They terribly miss school when there are holidays. Okay, so there is center work, there is exam evaluation, there is brain mapping, there's interconnected network, and there is seating arrangement designed for exponential learning as well. Can we move to the next slide, please? We are rushing through these slides because all these slides will be shared with you, and we have so much to say and so much to show and so much to share that within the available time we will try to cover, cover, and the the organizers can let me know if we are doing good on time, or we have a little more time. If we can move to the next slide, Kavita ji, can we move to the next slide? Okay, very quickly, how many teachers do you see in the photograph below? Next slide, please. So, in the traditional system, we would say there is only one teacher that we see in this particular picture. I mean, photograph. If we move to the next one, the answer is would be actually 25, since there are four children in a row, and there are 5 rows. There are 24 children. I mean 6 rows. There are 24 children and one teacher as well, and a total of 25. 25 teachers. Okay, so this is pretty interesting. If you move the slide a little bit up, we will see some material down below. Maybe I'm not able to see the full thing. Okay, so in peer-to-peer learning, every student becomes a teacher, and now the role of the teacher is that of a facilitator, who is a partner in the possibilities of every child. Okay, this is the beauty, that we have subtly changed the role of the teacher from sage on stage to guide on the side, and that of a facilitator who is a partner in the possibilities of every child. Every child at Muni loves the fact that our teacher is our partner, and he or she is is the partner in the possibilities that exist, hidden and waiting to be tapped and exposed within us. Okay, the next slide, please. So the impact of each one teach 5. Muni heavily encourages every child that each one of you should teach 5. Okay, this has a high impact because it creates deeper understanding. Okay, because every child who teaches must grasp the subject matter thoroughly to explain it effectively, and this deepens their understanding of the topic and boosts confidence in students. There is active engagement. Okay, so because critical thinking and enhancing the students cognitive abilities and problem solving skills, all these happen when you're actively engaged in the process of teaching. There is active participation by the child, and more importantly, enhanced communication. Teaching requires effective communication. Students refine their abilities to convey complex ideas clearly and coherently, and this they learn through a feedback from the student to whom, their school peers to whom they are teaching. If the students repeatedly say, I don't get what you're trying to say, I don't get the examples that you're quoting, the child has to repeatedly figure out new ways of expressing himself or herself, and in the process, over a period from lower kindergarten to 10th grade, you can imagine the amount of enhanced communication that can happen in every child.
So we have about 1 minute to
Okay,
end
sure.
the session.
Sure. I think we can then move quickly, just fly through till the thank you slide. Okay. We will just quickly scroll through just to let every participant know there is a whole lot of stuff that is coming your way. Okay. And you will be very happy to know how we are dealing with mental health and well-being also through our powerful methodologies. Okay, a personalized and approach in which every parent and every teacher is sensitive to the inner world of the child, and through that we develop extraordinary relationship with a child, and that in itself is it creates the possibility of mental well-being, and robust mental health. Thanks
Thank you.
everyone